another Cemetery of Choice rants from my kitchen. And today what we're going to talk about is the kind of paradoxical difference between how I'm going to say abortion rights, not pro-choice, because this isn't about your ordinary pro-choice person. Pro-choice people and the actual abortion lobby are very, very different. And how pro-life, there's a little bit less of a divide when you're looking at the ordinary people versus the people who set the policies on the pro-life side. It's one of the interesting and lesser known facts. But what I want to look at is how they talk versus what happens to the woman once she steps inside the facility. So, for all the talk about the woman, when a woman walks into an abortion facility, she's technically the patient. The fetus is what you would call the identified problem. So the assumption is the fetus is the problem. Get rid of the fetus, everything's going to be fine. And that explains why in an abortion clinic it becomes so thoroughly wrapped up in getting rid of that fetus that the woman herself, for all intents and purposes, kind of vanishes off the radar. And it works the opposite way. Let me grab a towel. It works the opposite way when a woman walks into a pro-life center, because it's not the baby that's the problem, it's the fact that she's thinking about killing it. It's that abortion ideation, not that's the identified problem. So you look at what each side's identified problem is, and the pro-choice side, the fetus itself is the identified problem. If you look at the pro-life side, wanting to get rid of the fetus is the identified problem. So, woman walks into an abortion clinic, the assumption is, okay, fetus is the problem, get rid of the fetus, woman doesn't have problem anymore. And anything that's happening in the woman's life is relevant only in as far as it's why the fetus has to be gotten rid of. These things in her life are not problems to be solved or things that need to be addressed. They're just, okay, this is why the fetus has to go. She's homeless, she's been raped, she's sexually abused, she lost her job, her husband just left her, she's in a bad relationship, whatever it is. Whatever's going on in her life, the relevance is that that's the reason that the fetus has got to go. But all of the women have that same thing in common, which is that they contain a fetus that has just got to go. Whereas in the pro-life center, those problems that she comes in with, whatever they are, they have to become the focus of what you're looking at, because you have to get rid of those problems in order to get rid of the idea that they can be resolved by getting rid of the baby. So, when the woman's in the abortion clinic, the degree to which this focus on the fetus happens is just staggering. It will blow your mind. It's, let's get that fetus out of her as fast as possible. And once the fetus is gone, it's like she completely disappears off the radar. There's no more sense of responsibility for her, because their responsibility only extended until the fetus was gone. And because getting the fetus out of her made her a patient, then you're responsible for her until she's discharged, until she leaves the facility. Once she leaves that facility, she's no longer your problem. And you can see this in the fact that the abortion lobby is all up in arms about the idea of abortion doctors having hospital admitting privileges. It's like the fetus is gone. She's no longer our problem. Even if they poked a hole in her uterus, they pulled a loop of bowel out through her vagina, it doesn't matter what happened. The fetus is gone. She's no longer their responsibility. And I have seen this extend to the point where women have literally been plunked into wheelchairs and shoved out the door to bleed to death, because that's the degree to which, once that fetus is gone, the woman is no longer their problem. Now, at the Pro-Life Center, it's just the opposite. You can't just, there's not a tangible thing that can be gotten rid of. You have to address the problems, or she'll walk out the door and she'll make an appointment in an abortion clinic. So, okay, what is it that she has going on? And then each of those problems has to be addressed, however many there are. So that's why you'll find things like the pro-lifers having baby showers for these women. The pro-lifers, they are trained on how to help teenagers tell their parents they're pregnant. They might be reporting sexual abuse to the authorities, which is something abortion clinics, I can link you to videos documenting that Planned Parenthood does not report child sex abuse. Because the sex abuse is not on their radar. It's not the problem. The fetus is the problem, and they will do abortions on these girls and send them back out with the abuser to endure months, sometimes years of more abuse. So, the Pro-Life Center has no choice. They have to address what is happening in her life that is making abortion seem like the answer. And that's why, for all the fetus talk, the actual practice is just laser focused on that woman. What do you need? Do you need housing? Do you need a job? Do you need help with your husband getting a better job? Do you need childcare? We had one case, now this was actually an abortion clinic worker. A pregnant abortion clinic worker contacted Abby Johnson's group, and they had a quick fundraiser. She was a domestic abuse victim, and we had a real quick fundraiser to get the money to help her relocate secretly to another state to live with a relative where she'd be safe and where she'd have some money to get set up in her new life. We provide legal services to these women. So that's the paradoxical thing. In the abortion clinic, it's not about the woman, it's about the baby. And in the Pro-Life Center, it's not about the baby, it's about the woman. And it has to be that way in order for either organization to be able to follow its goals.